All right, I got Caden Costa from Mandeville, Louisiana, and Conor Weselman from Atlanta, Georgia. And these two dudes were at the top 12 camp for Chris Saylor a couple weeks ago, and they've both had exciting a couple weeks since the camp broke. And tonight's roundtable for these young guys is really about the camp recap and what stuck out to them and their experience in it. So it's a roundtable format. So there's really, like I said earlier, no format that's strict, but wanted to know what you guys thought about those camps and how much fun you guys had. Let's go ahead and start there.
Sounds good. So I guess top 12, we'll start with that. That was pretty awesome. I spent a good amount of time in Houston just because that's where my grandparents are from. But like, I've never been to Dallas. That was a pretty cool place to begin with, and then just being able to go out and kick, hang out with the guys, pretty fun. See AT&T Stadium. That was pretty cool. Even though I'm a Falcons fan, but like it was still like cool to see like, hey, this is like NFL stadium. Here's the field. Like you could be in this one day. So, yeah, definitely a great experience.
Do you think you could punt the board? Do you think you could hit the
Dude,
board?
I think I can punt the. I think I can. Yeah, I didn't then. I was wearing tennis shoes and khaki shorts. So I got in a couple of holds for some guys kicking, but I think with the cleats on, the adrenaline pumping, I can hit that board.
So it sounds like you had a good time, Caden. What about you? Was it fun or?
Yeah, no, it's always a great time. I just love being with all the guys again because for a while, I mean, I hadn't seen those guys in probably 5 months, and then just hanging out with them at the room, and then getting to compete with them again live because we were all competing, film wise, but being able to actually be on the same field and looking over your right and left, and everybody's hitting a good ball, and then you got to match it. It was pretty. That's what I look forward to in those camps.
So, hanging out with the guys and competing.
Yep.
Same time too.
Yeah.
Well, what was the competition like at this camp? Like, what were y'all experiencing?
So I guess for the punters, we did like some competitions every day where you just go head to head to like 3 points, where you get a point for distance, point for hang time, and you go to three. So we did those every day, and then the last day we did like a big one with everyone at the camp. So the first two was just like the guys that were punting that day, but the last one was like everyone, all the kickers, the combo guys, like all 44 people. So it took a while, but it was good. You got to compete against a whole lot of guys, and then field goals. I'm not sure we all did the first 2 days. I was punting.
Good. we charted, or we didn't really chart, but we did 6 balls back to 55, and then for the comp, we were just last person standing for the first 2 days, and both of them ended in 67.
67 yards.
Yeah, both comps 67.
Well, how'd you guys do? Did you make your 67 yarder?
I didn't get back that far. I got out on a 63 one day and 65 the other day. Not short, wide left and wide right, but yeah, I got out before the finals. So I was out the first 2 days, and then the third day, that was just we went 3 balls back to back, and we were going like head to head, and then the winner of the 3 balls moved on to the next round.
Was there a time in the camp where everyone was like, "Whoa, good ball!" Like, I mean, did you ever get the crowd, the other guys cheering for you, hitting for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think kickoff was kind of a proving point for me because I had like a 85-yard kickoff. It was like, but there was a lot of wind that day, so like the hang was a little lower, and then the distance was like way up, so it was kind of juiced. But yeah, I think kickoffs were kind of big, and then every once in a while, just hitting a field goal with like really good height and really good rotation, everybody kind of sees it.
And did you walk around? Did you guys kind of walk around maybe after your big punt? Conor, I think you had like a 5.08.
Yeah. That one was good because it was in the finals of the last day. So yeah, that was I had a lot of pride in that punt because I went on to win that competition. So that was that was awesome.
I was in the stands kind of watching some of you guys because it was very hot on the field. And you can kind of hear some of the parents go, ooh. And especially if it's their kid, they get all excited. Eyebrows get raised.
That's awesome.
Okay,
yeah, I mean, I thought it was fun in the last day field goal competition when the punter would go up to the sticks and put up a good showing against the field goal kicker. We had a couple of upsets there, with some bottom seeds coming out on top. So
yeah, I got beat by a punter. So.
Oh no! You got beat by a punter?
Yeah, I got beat by a punter the last day. I went like 2 for 3, and then he came up and hit 3 for 3. So I was out.
Is that punter on this call right now?
No.
No. I came close actually. I made my first 2, and they were like right down the middle too, and like pretty high. And I was feeling good, and then I hooked 3 55-yarders. But I was happy to make it back that far. That was good.
Was there any smack talking, Caden, between the kickers and the punters?
I mean, just joking around. Like the guy who beat me, I'm really good friends with. So he thought it was funny because he's a punter and then I'm a kicker, so I should beat him. But everybody, I think everybody was kind of rooting for the punters to win. I think it was funny.
So you guys had fun at the camp, but like, what were your main like takeaways? Did y'all get better from camp?
I think I definitely, as a punter, I think it helped me just because it was really windy out there. We had a really, really strong wind at our back, and a lot of people think like, oh, when your back, ball goes farther, like psh, that's easy. But slight breeze, it helps. But when it's that big of a gust, it's really hard to turn over footballs and get the drop like in the right place because think about it, you're hitting a moving target and trying to get it to do the same thing every time. So I think it definitely helped me just learning by experience, punting with the wind, figuring out how to, better hold the drop and experiencing holding onto the ball a lot longer. So that I can just basically kick it out of my hand and not have to have it move a lot in the air. So I think that was probably my key takeaway. Also, just getting better at competing. You can never, get too good at competing, I guess. You're always gonna have people that are, up there and as good as you, and you just gotta find a way to pull it out and win.
What about you, Caden? What were some things that you learned or that stuck out to you from the camp?
My biggest thing was just seeing like whenever you hit a ball and then someone next to you just like say you hit like an average ball and then like a normal practice day you're like, okay, that's a make, good job or whatever, but like it's still a decent ball, and then the kid behind you just comes up and crushes it. It kind of gives you a feeling of like, always being able to improve, just to be as perfect as you can be. Because a lot of times, it's like, especially after this whole Corona thing where you hadn't seen anybody live in like 5 months, where you're just like looking at a kid and you're like 5 months ago, he wasn't like that, something like that. And then just seeing how everybody improved and then, competing against that was really good.
So you've got parents out there that don't understand, they haven't kicked before and they haven't been to these camps before. What would you tell a parent that, is kind of on the fence of for these camps?
I mean, I think they're great to go and compete and see how you stack up against people. I know that I think that was a key thing for me in wanting to go to the camps is just like you're gonna go. I mean, obviously the college camps didn't happen this year for COVID reasons, but you're gonna have to go to those camps and compete against guys. And if you don't know how to do that, then the coaches are gonna be like, okay, they're gonna pick the guy that went out there and did better. So you got to learn how to go out there against guys that are really good and prove that you're the better guy. And I know there are a lot of college camps aren't 3 days long, but they're like long throughout the day. They're not like 2-hour sessions. So you got to build up stamina and like keep having good days in good hours, even despite weather conditions and stuff. And you just gotta you gotta go out there and be the better guy. And so these camps really help you learn how to do that and learn how to kick under pressure.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of coaches, like a lot of college coaches, they get names off of the different kicking coaches and then the different rankings and stuff. But a lot of them do their own eval, like at college camps, and then coming to see you live. So not having that this year was just like, a lot of people they thought it hurt their recruiting for a while, but then, as you can see, everything starts blowing up a week after all these camps, recruiting wise. So it just kind of shows that college coaches kind of had to rely on them a lot more heavier this year for, different references. And then, the more people you can get behind you, the more help.
Yeah, we'll talk about the blowing up here in a second because you're wearing an Ole Miss shirt, and I think Conor's got some news as well. But before we get there, what would you tell some, your eighth grade self or some eighth grader rising freshman that's aspiring kicker wanting to play in college kind of on the route that you guys are on?
I think if I could go back and, you tell people things and, they're not necessarily going to believe you. I know, I had a lot of older kickers. They told me, your recruiting isn't really going to blow up until spring of your junior year. That's when you're actually going to start, talking to coaches. And I was like, no, I think something could happen. It really doesn't happen. So really, if you're a young kicker, you just got to work really hard and be the best you can be. And the recruiting will come and the coaches will come and all that. But I mean, you got to work your butt off. You got to do everything you can to be the best kicker you can be, because a coach isn't going to recruit someone that isn't good and just focus on recruiting. They're going to recruit the best guy. So yeah, you gotta go and you gotta reach out to coaches and you gotta go to and compete and prove that you're the best. But in order to do that, you gotta work hard to be the best kicker punter you can be. And it really just boils down to that. I mean, also just having fun, going out and training is fun. It shouldn't be anything stressful. Oh, I gotta do this to get into college. Just go out and kick. Get better because you do it. You drills and stuff a lot. You gotta fall in love with all that. And if you do, then everything will be good.
Yeah, I agree with that. The biggest thing I see from young kids, because I'm actually training an eighth grader right now who's coming in my high school, and he's already worried about recruiting because he sees me go through it, and he's like, well, what do I need to do recruiting wise? And I'm like I literally told this dude, I was like, yo, you don't need to worry about it right now. No colleges are looking at eighth graders for a kicker. That's just not how it works. They don't really, they like to see how kids, evolve over time. And they don't really care if you're an eighth grader hitting a 40-yard field goal. That's just not something they're looking at. So the biggest thing I told him was like, don't worry about it right now. Like, just train and then see where it goes. But like, you just have to focus on getting better first before you worry about that stuff.
And do you guys think that that's what y'all did so far? Like with these camps and in the last couple of years, did you guys just work on just getting better and having fun, kicking the crap out of the football?
I didn't really know like how specialist recruiting worked. So like I think I expected, seeing all these like athletes and stuff getting offers, freshman and sophomore year. I think I walked into like junior high and high school kind of thinking it would be like that. And then once you actually realize what recruiting is for a specialist, it's just really different. Because like I said, colleges aren't looking until you're a sophomore or junior at the least. So it's a lot of it's just, not worrying about that until the time comes.
Yeah. And I mean, I was the 8th grader in Caden's scenario. We had so many kickers come from my school, and I've seen like everything.
What are some kickers that'll come from your school? Give us some names. Drop some names, Conor.
All right, Harrison Butker, Blake Gillikin, Charlie Ham, Alex Gracie, and then we had some more guys before Harrison.
And where those guys end up kicking? Like, who is? There's some people that unlikely, but they don't know who Harrison Butker is.
So Harrison Butker kicked at Georgia Tech and is now with the Chiefs. Blake Gillikin was a 2-year captain at Penn State, is now at the Saints. Charlie Ham is at Duke. So I've seen a lot of kicker recruiting, and so I really was like, the coaches are going to come see my school, and like I'm going to get like noticed super early because like I come from this like school and I'm a good kicker. So I think I didn't necessarily take the best mental approach. I think I was pretty solid on, I reached out to coaches at the right time and things like that. But I think mentally I was thinking like, okay, I have to, I'm doing this, like I got to go to college, things like that. But I think towards the end of my season to now, I was just like, college is far away. And if I stress about that now, then what's like, once I get to college, what's the point of playing football? Because I'm already there. So I really started to work on, just having fun with it, having a great high school season. And I was so psyched when we started practice today. Because I mean, like, it's your senior season, you gotta have fun with it. So I think at that, probably like towards the end of my season is when I started to kind of adopt that mindset, and it's really paid off. I've made so much more improvement than I did, going into my junior season, and more improvement than really I thought I could make, just because, I trained hard and I had fun with it. So I think, I had like a transition there, and it was really the key to everything I've done.
Let's go. Yeah. Sounds like y'all are having fun. What's up, man? Let's go.
Yes.
So speaking of what he said about his school, my school actually had Joe Bulovis, who was committed to Georgia Tech and then ended up committing to Alabama like 5 days before signing day. And he's the starter there now. And then a punter named Parker Pastorello, who ended up at Northwestern State and then like led the FCS in punting average. But when I was like an 8th grader, I looked at Joe, who was a senior then, and he was already committed to Georgia Tech. And then when I was like a 6th grader or whatever, when Parker was there, he was already committed to Northwestern State like before his senior year. So like I kind of looked at it and I was like, yeah, like I'm gonna get recruited, whatever. And then I started like talking to Joe when I went into freshman year, and he kind of, told me about the different camps and stuff. And he was like, yeah, like, trust me, it's gonna be a little rockier than you think it is. So yeah, that's kind of what my school had. And then I walked in it, freshman year with a little mindset that I was going to get recruited. That didn't happen early.
So now you're wearing an Ole Miss shirt. Why is that?
What do you mean why? Like, why not choose it?
Well, no, I mean, unless you just got that out, from some local gas station that, over there on I-10, at the Tiger stop, they're selling some college garb. There's got to be a reason why you're wearing an Ole Miss shirt.
Well, I mean, it's just felt like it was the best fit for me. I mean, I actually just got this shirt like 2 days ago on Amazon, but yeah, I mean, just I didn't really have contact with them until about March or April, and then it kind of went from there, just getting to know their coaches and getting to know about the program, and then whenever the offer came, I already knew, like, I had already made my decision pretty much.
So for the listeners and people that are watching, they don't know who Caden Costa is. What happened? What's this offer all about?
Well, I mean, about a week ago, I got the offer, and then I just committed on the spot
for a scholarship to play football at Ole Miss.
Yeah, full scholarship.
Full scholarship. Let's go. Dude, that's awesome. Congrats, man.
Yeah, I'm happy about it. It's good. It's a good time.
And then Conor, you have some exciting news too on your front.
Yes. Last week I got scholarship offers from UNC Charlotte and Stanford. So,
coast to coast.
Yes.
Oh, there he is.
What's up, Tommy?
A little late.
You're muted, bud.
I just got done football practice.
And we got Tommy D.
How's it going?
Tommy Doman.
Hey, we're talking about some exciting news. One, we got an Ole Miss commit. We have UNC Charlotte and Stanford offers, and then you're going somewhere.
Yeah, I'm going to University of Michigan.
Go Blue. My, go Blue. So Conor, Caden, get him geared up on what we're talking about on this little round table.
We're talking about all sorts of exciting stuff. Just, what we liked about top 12, I guess what we'd tell younger kickers about kicking and recruiting, things like that, fun stuff.
And Caden told punters to stay away from the field goal sticks.
I mean, if you're a punter, then be a punter. But I think being a combo is the way to go, and just figure out which one you're better at later down the road.
I can bomb a punt. I don't call myself a combo.
Tommy, what was your favorite part about the top 12 camp or any of the couple camps you've been to? What's been sticking out in your brain since the last time?
I would say it was like a small group because we had some good punters, but there's only a couple of us. So getting a lot of reps of not just training, but just actually working on stuff, And then after you worked on it, then you could compete with it. So I thought that was something cool that we could show what you learned in that one session. And since we're all kind of high caliber guys, we could learn it and then show it so quickly. But yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. I thought the belly flop competition was fun too, but Cowboy Stadium was fun too. But I like the tournaments. The tournaments were cool, all the upsets and stuff like that. I thought that was fun. And field goal and punting.
Yep.
Yeah.
That sums it up. Sounds like everything was your favorite, Tommy.
I just kind of high pointed a couple things.
Did you hit the board like Conor thinks he can hit the video board at Jerry World?
Dude, I definitely think I can hit the board. I just didn't hit it well. You gotta have a pretty close to an A ball to hit it.
Were you wearing khaki shorts like Conor was?
I was wearing. I brought the cleats out. I was prepared. I was definitely strapped with the cleats, but I was wearing kind of like baggy shorts, just like comfortable shorts, not kicking shorts for sure.
That stadium is cool to play in. I played in it twice, once as a freshman against Oregon and then once as a junior against TCU. And I've been to a couple Cowboys games, and I went to the Cotton Bowl this year with Penn State and Memphis, right?
Yeah.
Dude, it doesn't get nearly as loud at the Cowboys games as it does for those college games. Those games are sick.
Well, you got the student sections at college games. I think that makes a difference.
Yeah.
It's hype.
Yeah. So you guys sound like y'all had some fun with the belly flop. Y'all had fun hanging out with the guys. You had fun checking out Jerry World, and now you're having fun here on this roundtable, just kicking back, hanging out, and cutting up.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun talking kicking when like everyone around us isn't really kickers, you know. Like we only really get to talk about kicking with other people when we're at these camps, like with these other guys, you know.
Yeah, it's like when y'all are with your teammates. Like, can y'all have the same conversations with your teammates at your high school?
No.
Well, we have a couple of kickers, so I actually can, but not with like
special, bro. Like,
but not really like with other teammates, just with the other kickers.
Can you have these conversations with your parents that you can have with the other guys that you've met at camps, or no?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like my parents know all the stats and numbers and stuff like that. They kind of know the technique, but they just know the numbers more so than the technical stuff.
My parents don't really like anything about that.
Well, that's actually funny. I wanted to show you guys your stats from the camp. Can y'all see my screen okay?
Yeah. That's a lot of kicks.
Yeah, that's a lot of kicks. So I charted about 500 field goals and about 100 punts. And I think there's about 45 of you guys. And that was the head-to-head competition.
Jeez.
Caden, did you say yours was wide, one of these wide left?
Are you talking about the head-to-head?
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed one wide left.
But it was still pretty decent with the distance. I mean, yeah. So you could probably find out which one of these is yours on that left side.
Yeah, I don't really remember it.
I can
James,
tell.
I can see all three of my 55s clumped up right there.
The green.
Right. No, in the red. Like, yeah, with the
Doman on the right side.
3 of them left, right next to the upright from 55.
We'll get a closer look at it. Yeah, Chris Saylor and Chris Rubio hopped on the podcast, and those dudes were like, "Yeah, those guys were really good. Probably our best top 12 because y'all are kicking from 80 or 67 yards, excuse me. But Caden did hit an 85-yard kickoff, which is unreal. And you didn't win the competition, did you, for kickoff?
No, I mishit the final ball.
And it only went 83 yards?
No, it was pretty bad ball.
All right, here's your last man standing, though.
Jeez. That's pretty accurate.
Dude, y'all made 80% of your kicks.
Oh, gee. We're locked in for sure.
And then y'all made it within 6 degrees of precision, which means it made it down the pro posts. That means y'all missed within 6 feet of the dead middle. Y'all were – I don't care if there's a huge win. That's super accurate.
Yeah.
And y'all did it 2 days in a
That's
row. So
crazy.
here's the I think they had the All-American Bowl selection on that second day.
Yeah, there was one on the second and one on the third.
Okay. Yeah, so there's a couple of misses, but look, I think y'all's legs got tired on that third day, so that's why you see a bunch of misses down here, and that's about 7% of them. But those still would have been good if they had the leg.
That's true.
Dude, these numbers are insane.
That's pretty accurate.
That's awesome.
I mean, when you see that, Caden, what are you thinking?
It's pretty accurate.
I mean, this is not BS, dude. I personally charted. I mean, and when you're out there kicking, there's so many balls going on, so your brain can't really process it. But then when you look back at it, you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, there were some good kids. I mean, like everybody there was really good. So,
dude, but punters, I thought I'd show you guys this too. I mean, that first day, y'all were on the left side and y'all were just going for that left corner. I mean, y'all were still getting the ball in those final competitions over like 4.4 seconds. Or sorry, that was on day 2. But for punting, it was a little bit difficult because the numbers are skewed because how fast that wind was. Like, Tommy, what happens to your ball when they're like? What did you like? Conor talked about it was really hard to like hit a moving target just in general with punting. But what was it like with the heavy wind?
I felt like into the wind was actually easier to control, like the ball placement, like where you wanted to like punt the ball. But like with the wind, it was like you drop something out there thinking like you know where it is, and then it just gets pushed even further and like kind of like out of your reach, and you're just kind of reaching even more for it, you know. So I mean, it was like a moving target, but it was a fast moving target.
Yeah,
that's how I describe it.
Well, it was basically you and Conor in the finals, going head to head, right?
Mm. Yeah, that was a tricky one.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
What made it
Tommy,
tricky?
Tommy, I think I met you in the finals day 2, right? You got that one.
Bro, you just needed to hit like a clean ball, and it's just kind of like whenever you like stepped up the kick, like the wind just started picking up more and more. Like mine was so
tough.
Like, what can you do? You got me on the last day, which is really all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah, that was still really windy. It was tough.
But then check out how interesting this is, guys. Look how much not worse the young guys are. It's not about being worse. Look how the stats are different from the underclassmen. They were about 60% on their charting.
Yeah, but like I feel like you can see like a lot of, like the right and left ones are, like pretty close to the post. So like I think with just experience, I mean, yeah, they're younger, but I think just experience, like they'll be able to be more accurate like we were. I mean, we were probably the same way when we were their age just a year ago.
Yeah.
So how does this change or not change, advice that you would give to an 8th grader now that you can kind of see, not just 8th grader, but just an underclassman?
I mean, the underclassmen are looking pretty good. But I mean, I'd still keep my advice the same. They just got to have fun, and they just got to go out and grind and train every day and not really worry about, where they're trying to go, like college or anything. Just go and do it and have fun with it. It's awesome.
Yeah, I agree with Conor. I think that like if you're good enough, they're gonna find you. I mean, that's kind of how kickers go. I mean, just getting better on like focus on one thing every day. Because like when you're younger, it's like can like be a little intimidating because you see like guys like Caden hit 85-yard kickoffs. Like how am I gonna get to that? And then you like try to overswing or stuff like that. You gotta you train in the weight room to get stronger, and then you just kind of focus on just your technique and stuff like that, and let your work in the weight room kind of take over on the field, so you can just like stay smooth and not like try to swing outside your body. Just like if you want to get more distance, don't swing harder, just get stronger, and don't change your technique.
That's like also, I forgot to say this when I was talking about like when you talk to 8th graders and stuff, but like I hear a lot of coaches, or not necessarily coaches, but like people with experience kicking or people that are in the kicking world say like the weight room is not, what's going to help you kicking. And I think that's completely wrong as long as you do it the right way, because like I think that's what's really changed my ability. But like I said, like you can't just go in there and like try to squat 500 pounds. Like you have to do functional stuff. But like if you do it right, it will help. And that's the easiest thing to work on because it's something you can control like 100%.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm in the weight room all the time and conditioning too, not just lifting, but, all the running and, core work is super important. Like I swim, so the core is like super important in swimming, and it really translates onto the field.
How much have you guys physically grown since your freshman year of high school or your 8th grade year? Let's call it 8th grade years.
Ooh,
8th grade year? Oof. I think I only grew like 4 inches.
Still pretty good.
I don't know if that's still pretty good, yeah.
How tall are you now?
I'm like 6'3" or 6'4", something like that. But I think I gained like 30 pounds. And I think that was a lot better than height. I mean, height's really important and stuff in punting because like long levers and stuff. But I gained a lot of weight, just like muscle. I'm not like fat or anything, but I just hit the weight room really hard. Gained a lot of weight.
I walked in as a freshman at like 6 foot 140, and now I'm about 6'2", 200. So
60 pounds.
yeah, I gained a lot of weight.
Jeez, bro. Damn.
What about you, Tommy?
I came in at 5'8", like 140-ish. Right now I'm 6'3.5", 182. So, I mean,
7 inches.
yeah, it was kind of rough because I thought I was a kicker, and like every single time I grew, I had to change like my rhythm, my steps, and everything like that. And I still am like kind of still growing, but and it's kind of frustrating like a little bit. I mean, Conor's definitely experienced it. Like when you grow, like any kicker that grows, like you got to change so much stuff all the time. So you think you got something involved, and then you got to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, after last summer I was hitting my kickoffs really well, and then I got to the season, and I just like it just didn't feel right, and things were kind of messed up, and I look back on it, I was like, I grew like a lot. I think I grew like an inch or two or something. I don't know if that makes that big of a difference, but my steps like are not like the same. Like my stride's longer, even if it's just like a little bit. So I had to go back and change up my steps a little bit, change up, how I was doing everything, and thankfully I got it back. But yeah, it was tough in there for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, because I've grown obviously a lot, like not really height wise, but like I walked in as a freshman as like a twig because like all I used to do was soccer. So like I literally walked in and I was like so skinny, and then as I kind of found the weight room, like I always had like the natural soccer kicking style or talent or whatever, and then as I found the weight room, my body changed, and I kind of had to like because you always have to adjust something, like maybe if you're not hitting your kickoffs well, like Conor said, like my kickoff steps have changed since freshman year, and it's just kind of like what's worked the best, and finding that middle ground.
Yeah.
Would you have been able to hit a ball like this when you were in 8th grade? Conor, this was one of your balls. It was a 60-yarder. You hit it 60 yards from the line of scrimmage, and it was 5:05 hang time.
Well, I wasn't kicking in 8th grade, so no, I would not have been able to. I started kicking in 9th grade, and then I like punted because I had to. And then in 10th grade, I was like, wait, I'm actually kind of good at punting. I'm going to try to work on this. So I really started like focusing on punting in 10th grade. So no, 8th grade would not have been able to do that.
What about you, Tommy?
I like just like Conor. I mean, I started. Time starting was different, but I started as a kicker in like 4th grade. I thought that was gonna be me. I wasn't punting and all that stuff. And then I went to camp in what's it called, in Grand Rapids, It was run by Mike Sadler. It was a Coles camp, but like he was like the guy running it. And I was still 5'8", and like he's like, because like only 3 kids showed up. So, and he's a punter, so he's like, oh, I want to see you punt and stuff like that. And he's like, man, like I think you can be a punter. I'm like, I'm 5'8". I think I'm gonna be here. And he's like, I think you're gonna be a punter. And then just kind of like just working on both all the time. And then just kind of recently, like past 2 years, just kind of grown more in punting just because that just works better for my body. But
and here's one of your kicks from the camp, 56-yarder. 5-1, I think this was hang timer.
These guys right.
yeah, I was not hitting those last year.
The point being is you guys have worked hard, and then, like Chris Rubio said, as your body gets more developed, it's like having it's like the engine just taking off, right? I mean, you guys are all examples of dudes that have just worked hard and put yourself in position to have options. And we have one guy that's going to Ole Miss. He's got an option. You're going to Michigan. Amazing option. Shout out to Tyler Brown, my homie. And, you have an option to go to Stanford, Conor, and that's huge. And so the wisdom that you guys have learned from Sailor and the camps and having fun with the guys, right, and enjoying kicking is the reason where y'all are at, I think, at a pretty good crossroads, right? I mean, this is not a burnout from soccer that some of us experience.
Yeah. I mean, I stopped playing soccer in 7th grade, and I didn't even go to kicking. I started playing in competitive golf tournaments. I was a golfer for about 2 years, and I was not very good at it. It helped my mental game, but then I got cut from the golf team my freshman year because our high school golf team is really good, and that's the same year I started kicking.
Yep.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to kick. There you go. Now I got some scholarship offers.
My 8th grade year was when I started kicking, and it was like I didn't play football up until 8th grade, but then my football coach, who was also like our PE teacher, kind of like came up to me and he was like, yo, like really like you to come play football. We need a kicker, and then you can also play receiver for us if you want. So I was like, I've always wanted to play football, but it kind of interfered with soccer a lot because they're the same season. And then, so I actually played like the first 2 games, and then the day of the 3rd game, I told him I was going to quit to play soccer. And then he was like, well, he was really shocked, obviously, and because it just came out of nowhere. And I was just like decided that day that I wanted to stop playing. And then like I didn't play that game. And then the next day, like he came and talked to my parents and he was like, look, like I can see you playing at the next level, whatever. But also just like, I feel like this is your place. Like you're a football player, not a soccer player. And that kind of hit me. And then, he also talked to my parents a lot. And then, so I came back that week and then I played. And then whenever I committed, like one of the first people I texted was him. Because I was like, yo, like, thanks for keeping me playing. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, one influence, and I got free college.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
It's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything that I didn't bring up that you guys wanted to talk about?
I actually still play soccer, by the way. I came back. I'm playing goalie now. So I wasn't playing goalie then, but I am now. So I get to punt and get big kicks and use my length.
This might sound like a weird question. Is there a difference between punting a soccer ball and punting a football?
Yeah.
Yeah. With the soccer ball, I go out like to the side and do kind of like a rugby style punt, or like a rollout, I guess. And then, you gotta hit it like it's a smaller sweet spot, I guess, because it's like a circle. It doesn't like fit to your foot. I don't know. But yeah, it's not really the same.
I would say the soccer ball is easier because like it's a sphere. Like the whole thing's a sweet spot. If you really think about it.
Throw it up and hit as hard as you can.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm okay at it. Like I actually like the soccer guys like you're a punter. Like, I was like, I know, but like, I either like, I'll sometimes hit like too low on it and the ball just goes straight up and like not go anywhere, or like I hit like on top and it's like just like really low. So I got to figure that out. But I like taking goal kicks because I just like do kickoffs.
Yeah.
And so like I would like go back and clock, like we had the film, and I'd go back and like clock my goal kicks, and I'd hit like 3 6s, and I'd be like, yes, let's go. We'd go over midfield, over everyone's head. We actually scored on a couple of them. Not like me personally, but like boom, breakaway.
Yeah.
So that's what I like doing more than the punts.
Well, cool stuff, guys. Well, this was a fun roundtable, and I was thinking what we could do to finish this off is, if you want to, hop on Instagram Live, each one of you guys one-on-one, and get some followers on there to talk about and share, 5 minutes of your wisdom. So does that sound like something would be fun to do?
I think so. I don't know how many people on my Instagram will hop on that, but
I'll probably get like 10.
Okay. Well, hey.
We'll see. Let's go for it.
At least one of those guys will use it to get better.
Yes.
All right,
Hopefully.
Caden Costa, Conor Weselman, Tommy Doman. Is that how you say your last name? Doman?
Doman.
Doman?
Yeah.
Dude, thanks for joining the roundtable, guys.
No problem. Thank you for having us.
All right, we'll hop on.
Appreciate it.
Hop on IG Live here in a second.
All right, let's do it.
All right, bye.
See you.